And we're back.
Welcome to the Cavalry, everybody. Johnny, what's up, my dude?
What is up? It's been a while. How are you?
Yeah. I'm good, man. We're just fresh off a plane. Heidi and Ginger and I went down to California. I had this sweet-ass corporate gig at this resort. Beautiful resort.
Where was it?
At the Terranea in Palos Verdes. It's incredible. It's nice. It was right next to the Trump National Golf Course, so it's like a lot of rich people.
Wow.
And it was, well, first of all, the place itself is incredible, but when you bring your family to stuff like that, it does not matter how good the check is for this show. Once you get the bill at the end, and the room's free,
Yeah.
But then you just start like, oh yeah, charge it to the room. Oh, we'll go have a drink by the pool. Charge it to the room. You're lucky to break even.
Oh
Just lucky to break even.
Oh no!
Bringing your family.
Wow.
To these type of gigs is just.
What all goes on the bill? Every meal and what? Is it like meals and like what's on the bill besides meals and drinks and?
Well, meals, drinks, room service. Because when you got a kid, and then one night it was so late, we were there that there was nothing open but room service.
Isn't room service just food though?
Yeah, it's just food times like a million. Have you ever ordered room service?
Maybe once.
Is room service just food? No, we were ordering Best Buy flat screens to the room.
Well, I didn't know. Like,
do you have any new iPhones? Meals. Can I get an iPhone delivered? Yeah, it was just food.
I don't know if you're like, hey, can you have someone come make my bed?
Oh yeah, I mean they do that. That's free, but not in the evening usually. Anyway, and a little.
Like, spa. I've never stayed in a hotel.
We did the spa thing too because it's supposed to be a top 5 spa in the world or whatever. Heidi was.
Was this a Yoder? One of their.
No, but so this was just a private gig. They reached out to me.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
great.
Yeah. Oh my god, it was kind of a mess booking it, but it worked out. And then, but I'm doing one of those coming up. So I'm trying to transition into my resort comedy life because I'm doing this Kohler resort. You said you've done that one, right?
Yeah, that's a great one. That is a Yoder one.
That is a Yoder one. Yeah. So that's coming up. But I just got off the plane. We're recording this. Literally, I walked down. The only way to, I mean, you have 3 kids. I don't even know how you fly with 3 kids. But with 1 kid, even, it's so much stuff. You have to break everything down into phases. So literally, like we'd get from the hotel, drop the rental car off. That's like phase 1. Because then you got to get all the stuff onto the rental car shuttle to go to LAX. And then you got to get through security. That's like phase 2. And then you got to go, you know what I mean? Get on the plane. It's just like, it is every step of the way is such an ordeal.
Well, you have to, yeah, that's exactly what you have to do is you can't think about the future steps.
No.
Until you're there or you will have an anxiety.
You'll kill yourself.
Yeah.
You're like, this isn't worth it. And you'll just walk into traffic. So you have to think about it like in the moment. Just get through this checkpoint. You know what I mean? And literally like the Uber drove away and I had all the bags on the side, like on the parking strip of our house. And I was just like, just get these bags now. Just one more. Just get these bags into the home and then you're done. And it was.
Now let me ask you this. And you have 1 kid. You have 2 parents and 1 kid.
Yeah.
And we have 3 kids.
I don't even know. That's what I'm saying.
So you just divide and, you do the way I save my mental stress is like, okay, I can either take Phoebe, who's a bigger handful because of the age she's at when we've flown with her, or the 2 other kids who are not easy, but they reason with you. They listen to.
Right. You can direct them a little bit. You can go, hey, go over here.
So so one parent will take those 2, sit with them, and the other sits with Phoebe. it's always been Aaron with Phoebe and then me with the easier two.
And you prefer that?
I mean, I guess. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't.
Never,
I would take
you've
Phoebe.
never
'Cause
known
then
it any
you
other
just got to
way.
convince yourself. Yeah, I mean,
That you
I've
have
never
the
had
good
to.
deal. Yeah.
You just convince yourself that you got the better end no matter which one, because it's like, oh, I only got one instead of two.
But how
And
do
if you
you
get the
even
two, it's like I got the easy ones.
physically do it with the bag? That's what I don't understand. Like, do you make the kids carry stuff? You have to, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, they just have their drag along, penguin shaped stupid bag that has their junk in it, and then a lot of their stuff is packed in our bags with our stuff.
I just love how you're roasting your kids on their luggage. It's like you bought it. It's not like they went out and picked that. You
Yeah,
picked
but they
it.
like
Look
it.
at your stupid bag that I bought for you, made you use. Yeah, like I was just loading up one of those smart carts. By the way, now I'm on on the way to the California. We were down there 3 days. One night we stayed with Heidi's dad. 2 nights at this resort. I kind of juiced him into a second night. I was like, hey, might be best if I get, with the way flights are, that I get there a night early or whatever. And so,
Oh, you juiced the client.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah. But on the way down, those smart cart things, I'm just like running the card, it's $6, whatever.
Yeah.
At LAX, it's $8 at LAX, little LA inflation.
Sure.
For a freaking cart. When we got back to Portland and I got the bill for the resort, I was like, I'm finding a free cart. I walked out to where the Ubers were because I was like, this is so stupid. What do I do with my cart when I'm done? I just leave it wherever I am. I'm just going to go to that area. And of course, there's like 10 of them over there for free. So never pay for a smart cart.
Oh, yeah. That's
my advice.
I've never been
A
smart
guy
enough
almost
to look for a free one.
The guy almost stole mine. He was like hovering, it was a baggage claim, and I went over to get the bag, and he started like going over to grab it. I was like, "Yo, easy, pal."
Yeah, that's
Come
my
on.
$8 right there,
Yeah.
buddy.
But it was great.
What'd you do with Trudy?
Oh, see, now normally we travel with Trudy too, and so we've done that, and that's one more thing, although Trudy's way easier than Ginger. Trudy's just like shuts down on the plane, no problem at all. But you do have to like carry her stuff or walk her through the airport, so that's like one more thing. But this time they didn't allow pets at so get this. So the resort allows pets in the regular rooms, right? But Heidi knew about this resort, this Terranea. She'd heard of it before.
Yeah.
So she was like, first of all, when she heard I got the gig, she was all over it. She's like, oh no, I'm going. This is like, we're going, you got to bring me. So, but then we get a room reservation number is all I have, right? So she's calling. She calls the resort and she wants to know where we are, whether there's a view. She needed to tell them too, like we're bringing Ginger to have a pack and play, ready, all that.
Yeah.
And but she found out we were in a bungalow, so they really hooked it up. They put us in like this bungalow place, but the bungalows are adults only. So they tell her
kids.
Yeah, so no kids. So they're like, we can put you in the casitas, right? So then I'm not hearing any of this. She's just on the phone, right? And I'm doing something else. And I hear her like talking to this hotel person. I'm like, what is she talking about? And finally I hear Heidi say this sentence. And I just burst out laughing like uncontrollably at her. And all I hear over the phone, she goes, now, are the bungalows comparable to the casitas? I was like, who are you? Who are you? But here's the thing. So Heidi loves Trudy so much, right? No one loves her dog more than Heidi does. But they said no dogs allowed in the casitas. They are allowed in the regular rooms. She's like, Trudy, you're out. I'm not missing out on the casitas. So she brought Trudy stayed with Heidi's cousin, Sarah, who like fostered.
What is a casita?
It's like basically what was it? It was probably like a large condo type situation. It had its own sort of living room, kitchen, full like
Oh
giant
wow.
bedroom. You know, it had a walkout terrace and view of the ocean. It was pretty sick. Yeah.
Oh, you
Okay,
have
but then
arrived.
I've arrived. Yeah, but no, I'm already broke again, so it doesn't matter. All that money is gone. And then the last thing was, it is an amazing place. When they have this pool, and the pool overlooks it's like the cliffs. I don't know. I'd never been to Palos Verdes, so I didn't know about this, but it's like kind of that cliffside part of the beach in LA. And so it's all rocky and beautiful and like scenic. It looks like Spain or something. I don't know what I imagine Spain to look like. But so the pool.
The natives call it España.
There you go. I know you're
España.
bilingual. You exposed that
That's
to
right.
me earlier today.
That's right.
So then, so we go to the pool, and Ginger loves the pool and stuff. So we're swimming around, and then they have these chairs set up though, looking at the pool. But then they have chairs set up looking the opposite way out, so you can see the ocean, right?
Okay.
So I was like, oh, that's so gorgeous. So we're laying out on these pool chairs, looking at the ocean, having a margarita, and then some dudes come in the little truck just below us. There's like a lawn, and they're
Yeah.
doing the sod, So it's like these like four Mexican dudes working in the sun on the sod, and I'm looking right at them. I'm like, this is this
With
is
a margarita in your hand.
It's like I really have to do some mental gymnastics to explain why I'm up here for my stupid jokes. But anyway, it was a good trip, but I'm very tired now.
Oh, I bet. Oh,
So,
I coached basketball today, so I am tired too.
oh, did you? What were the
I
drills?
I I assistant coached.
Wait.
They've had practice Tuesday, and then today was the second one, and
Whose
so
team is this?
I basically help, but I do no planning. So I don't
Oh, that's great.
I don't find the practice place. I don't reserve the spot. I don't pick the times. I just show up, help, and leave.
And they just what do you mean by help? Like you're like running
Like
a
I do
drill
whatever they, I'll help them demonstrate. We'll do act outs. We divide the girls up, and then I'll go to this station, work with them, and he goes to that. I mean, there's two other main coaches, and then I'm the assistant coach. So,
can you tell if there's you got talent on this team? Like, are there any girls that really stand out?
there's some that are. I mean, yeah, there's some that are better than the other. There's one that has never, this is her second time ever touching a basketball. But that's fine. I mean, it's kind of, it's these girls either first or second time like playing organized basketball. It's Edie's first time, but I mean, she's practiced a lot, so she's good.
But basketball, you have a much better command over. This isn't going to be as hilarious as when you coach baseball, because I feel like as much as you don't love organized basketball, maybe you understand the game more than baseball.
Yeah, I know. I like I like basketball. I like playing it. I like watching it. I'll watch it. I mean, it's probably my favorite game to watch too, because I think it's fun no matter who's playing. But yeah, there's one girl that's just just doesn't listen at all. She's constantly dribbling the ball. She'll just go walk. They'll be doing a scrimmage 4-on-4 because we have 8 girls at practice, and she'll just go sit down. I'm like, oh, come on, you gotta come, you gotta play. Your person doesn't have anyone, and they're just like, they're just sucking on their water bottle, looking at you like, no. And then they'll just wander off and go start shooting. It's like, what can you do? It's like,
I'll tell you what to do.
Yeah.
Cut. Get those scissors out. Time to make some cuts. I mean, what? You know what I mean?
They don't do cuts in 3rd or 4th grade.
Wouldn't that be hilarious if they did, though? Like, hey, we've never done this before, but we have got to cut your daughter.
Yeah, what's funny is they did have to do
cancer.
Just put like a red sheet of paper, tape it to the locker.
Right. Yeah. Their locker.
Yeah, they all have lockers.
Yeah, they all have like, hit the showers, ladies. They're like, what? You mean go home?
But they had like a skills session, so they weren't sure because they didn't know if there was enough coaches. They were maybe going to have cuts, and then we told Edie that she made it, and then she found out, oh, nobody got cut. Like they had plenty of people to help out. So, but yeah, this girl.
Well, I don't like the attitude. It sounds like more of an attitude problem than anything. If
Well, that's what I mean. You can't be like, hey, look, you little shit.
I know. That's the thing. With no threat of a cut, there's really nothing else. You can make a run laps, but they probably should just say no.
Right, exactly. God, that's what happened to me. I was such a jack. I would always goof off, and my coach would just have me run.
Look what they did to you.
Yeah, I know. They turned me into a runner.
There's something psychological about that. Now you're running marathons. You think you've done something wrong, so there's something going on. Then this is you atoning for your
for being naughty.
Yeah, for your sins. It'll never be enough, Johnny. You'll never run far enough.
Like Forrest Gump, just keep going.
Just keep going. We also went to Seattle. So over the weekend, I did the Laughs Comedy Club. Heidi came with me for that too, and Ginger, and we went.
Oh yeah, I saw some of your posts. That looked fun.
Yeah, it was fun. We went. Again, we sound so rich now with these two stories, and this is not the case at all. Trust me. Heidi went. We were in. There's a children's area in this U Village area. It's like a mall near the university. And there's like a little kids park thing. So we took Ginger down there to go play around in the play structure. But then they have this place that sells like fancy sheets. It's called Parachute, maybe. Have you ever heard of that? Has Aaron ever brought that up to you? Like high end, like
no,
like sheets and bedding, like high end, like high thread count stuff.
Oh, is it Target? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, yeah. No. It's not Target.
Oh, okay, then.
But so we go in, right? We go to the store just to like look around or feel these amazing sheets, I guess. And they offer you, so you go in, they offer you something to drink. They're like, "Oh, do you want a coffee or tea?" And I was like, that is the number one way to know you're about to get ripped off is if anybody ever offers you a drink in any sales environment. If someone offers you to get a beverage, just get the fuck out of there. Just leave right away because you're about to get taken for everything you're worth.
Yeah.
So that's what I did.
Like a car dealership?
Car dealership, like jewelry, some sort of like jewelry store. If they offer you a glass of champagne, just get out of there.
Have you ever been apartment hunting and accidentally went to a condo? Like where it's not it's like, I don't know if they screw up the ads or what, but you show up to a place thinking you're going to rent a unit and it's like super nice. And you find out it's like, oh, this is a $400,000 condo that I'm in that they're trying to
no, I've never done that.
Oh, we did that. We did that
really?
all the time. Accidentally. It's very embarrassing.
At what point did you realize you've made the mistake?
Very quickly, when there's someone standing there handing out real estate cards and paperwork, and like, well, where's the rent on here?
When Heidi and I first wanted to buy a house, we would go to open houses in LA. But we didn't know anything about it. We'd never heard of anyone buying a house or like understood the process. So we got to the point where we were this real estate agent.
In LA?
Yeah, well, we knew, so we would just. I mean, they were like at the time they were like $500,000 place. They were way out there, it was like Altadena and little 1-bedroom places. But at the time, it's still we couldn't afford it. But we were like, well, let's go look and see. We didn't have, we couldn't pay a mortgage on $500,000 back then. But we would go and we'd look, and finally, there's this guy. I remember his name, Jonathan Balthasar. He like took a shine to us, because like, oh, it's this young couple, maybe they're gonna start a family. This is like some home buyers, so he starts sending us emails, and we probably had him go out and show us like 4 or 5 different places, like on a Saturday, spending all his time. And finally, we're at an open house, and he goes, "So, are you guys pre-approved?" And we're like, "Pre what? Approved for what?" We're like, "What are you talking about?" And I go, "For a mortgage." Like, no, man, I don't know. I thought you guys do that. I didn't know what you're
Oh
and
my
then
god.
he would still send us emails, but we didn't have the heart to like force him to show us.
Oh, that's hilarious. That would have been so funny if his attitude just changes.
Oh
What?
yeah,
Get the fuck out of
I
here.
think he was pretty disappointed that we hadn't heard of the pre-approval
so funny.
process.
He gets pre-approved. How does that work again?
Now what? For what? Approved for, you know.
Yeah, we pre-approve of this place. Sure, it looks
Yeah.
nice. Oh man.
They let me rent cars. That's pretty good.
Oh shit, that reminds me. All right, let me ask you your advice. Would you I have a private, like a corporate gig in Dickinson, North Dakota in December when it's probably going to be snowy. It's a 12-hour drive.
Oh god.
Or I could fly, but they have they have a super tiny airport. I've been there before. Super tiny. You can see through from front to back through the windows of this airport. That's how small it is.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like the flights are super expensive, like very expensive. And so I'm like, well, I'll just drive. So my choices are: do I pay a ridiculous amount to fly, but possibly risk because I'm gonna have a layover, and that scares me more than anything. The chance of missing a corporate where I'm like, oh, good, now I'm out the money of the flight and I don't get paid.
Can't you fly from Milwaukee to like? Isn't there like, I don't know where Dickinson is, but like, is there something like Bismarck or something close where you could rent a car from there and like cut down on the drive a little bit?
Yeah,
and
maybe.
It's cheaper and it's more of a major airport, less chance of it getting canceled. Or if you do fly, then you have to go in like a day early, I'd say, just to save yourself the stress.
Ugh.
But I would not drive. Oh my god, 12 hours. I'm out.
That's the
on
thing.
12
Like if I
hours.
do drive,
Then if it snows, that's not easy driving when you're white knuckling it and the.
I know in a Prius. That's the thing is I was going to say I was going to rent a car just so I don't have to deal with driving the Prius 12 hours in the.
Yeah, let your wife drive the Prius in the snow.
Yeah,
too dangerous for you.
She already knows how to handle it. She's done some 180s on the belt.
No, man, just spend the. I don't know.
You would fly. I mean, I'm looking at it's like, oh my god, that's like. I'm so cheap. I am so cheap.
I would fly and just realize you're saving yourself money because if something happens to the car or if you miss the gig because you get,
But I feel like you're more optimistic on flights. I feel like a flight is a gamble. It's like, oh, best case scenario, 90% chance I'll make it. With driving, I will get there, especially in a rental car with like new tire, good tires. I will get there. It'll be annoying because it'll be 12 hours, but I will get there.
I mean, you'll get there. Okay, so I got to look at the map here, but like you would get there on a flight.
12
I mean,
hours
you're in the same part of the country. It'd be different if it was like you're going from like the East Coast to West Coast or something.
No, but I'm probably going to have to fly like away from, like Dickinson, they only fly to probably Denver and that's it. So I'll probably have to like, or Texas, or Dallas. Like it's not going to be like, oh, I'll fly halfway and then get on the other half.
Yeah, okay. I'm looking up to see where Dickinson is right now. Dude, that shit is in the middle of nowhere. Okay, first of all, just fly to Bismarck. It looks like it's like an hour away.
All right, maybe I'll do that.
Bismarck's probably got a decent airport, and you'll get in, and then rent a car from Bismarck. And I bet the flight will be cheaper. They have like that Frontier. This is great for you because some shit airline I would never fly. But that Frontier Airlines, that's like it sounds like
shit airline I'm too good for. That'd be great for you, Beaner.
You love that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
Yeah. You like being treated like shit. That's
Yeah, it
great
gives
for
me a
you.
story.
Yeah, that's what I would do. I would fly to Bismarck and rent a car from Bismarck. That's what I would do. Because I
Okay.
bet the flight is significantly cheaper, better
So you guys flew
reliability.
like what are fly? I mean, it's been, gosh, I've tried to think when last time I've flown, because everything I've done lately is driving or um, I booked it way ahead of like
They've come back down. Flights were double what you would have remembered this summer,
yeah.
but they've come back down. Now it's back to like basically what it was before, maybe a
But I
little
mean,
bit worse.
this was like $750.
Yeah, to go to Dickinson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean
You're
that's
saying
crazy,
that's
but
right, or that's crazy.
that sounds right for an airport that small. Yeah, I mean I'm surprised they have an airport,
Yeah.
but yeah, but look at Bismarck.
All right, I'll do that. You may have saved the day. We'll see.
Just don't drive 12 hours. Although I did just look, it's right on the 84, so it's like it's not like you'd be driving through like passes or like crazy small highways to get there, you know.
Yeah.
But still,
Did I tell you what I did one time where I had a gig in South Carolina on like a Friday, and then Saturday I had a gig in like northern Minnesota. So I had to get in my car after selling merch Friday and just haul ass
oh,
to make sure I got to the next
what?
gig.
How many hours is that? That's like 18
I mean,
hours.
it gave me, I think I got there 2 hours before the show started.
So you're just
And I did
dead.
that on purpose because I just wanted to see just the excitement of it was really stupid.
No, that's just. I mean, I did stuff like that when I was young. I guess like
Oh, that was a long time
never
ago.
for a gig. I think I would drive like 10 hours or whatever to gigs, but not. That's about it. I never did anything like that.
You know what the worst thing was? It was one of those gigs. It was one of those gigs where it was like it didn't pay great. The second gig, the first gig was like fine. It was like part of
Yeah.
a string of whatever. So then the one in Minnesota, it didn't pay great. I mean, it would have paid fine from my house, but like not on a whatever the hour, 15-hour drive or whatever. Uh, he goes, man, every comic, they sell out of merch. They buy like crazy. It's a mining town. They buy like crazy. I show up. He's like, I don't know what's going on this week. There's a race across town, or
Yeah.
just some excuse where I was like, wait a minute, what? So I won't be unloading all of my merch after this fucking
I thought you were going to say, and this
drive.
is what would happen to me, is it would be sold out. All the miners would have showed up, and then my merch would bomb. Like normally, everybody sells whatever stupid dick pencil or, you know.
Yeah, for some
But,
reason your bootleg dry bar special just didn't
just
ring.
not moving any copies.
Uh,
They,
well,
they they changed the rules on the cruise ships. You can sell the DVDs again, and
oh yeah,
and so I tried to sell, but then the girl who was running the thing, she kept not giving me the slips, and then but finally she swears, she's like, okay, I'm gonna have a table set up. She's like, give me the DVDs, and then I'll have this, and we'll sell them after. I was like, oh, that's so nice, thank you. And then I make my big pitch, and I really pitch it, and I'm doing little jokes about it,
Yeah.
and
Sure.
making fun of the DVDs, but then also, guilting them into it, all this stuff. And then I get off stage, and I go out there, and she just never showed up. She took the DVD, she just never, never put out the table, never was there. So I had to stand there, and people were like, oh, what's going on? Where are these famous DVDs?
Oh my god,
I
were
was
you
like,
pissed? I would have been
Kinda, yeah.
pissed.
Yeah. It was a little embarrassing.
Oh,
It's like it's embarrassing enough to sell DVDs after your art, if you could, one could call it that. I thought about it too with the corporate gig because I was like, man, didn't we talk about that? Like, do you sell merch after a corporate gig? And
Yeah.
I didn't have it in me. I was like, this place is too fancy, and these people are like too like I can't like look like I need to sell them another $20 worth of shit, you know.
Yeah. Did you make that call before you got there,
Yeah.
or?
Well, once I was there for sure.
Yeah. That's. I'll
Actually,
I'll bring it, and then I'll
yeah.
leave it in the car if I'm too embarrassed.
I was like, it seems too like huckstery or something. I don't know.
Uh,
All right, should we get into it?
let's get into it. Let's get into it.
Johnny, what do you need backup on?
Okay. Now,
Oh wait, did we hit all
as
of our thing? Any appliance talk?
oh, I know what I was going to tell you. This is not appliance talk, but we are painting. I'd say we. It's mainly my wife. She wanted to do it, so we're painting the cabinets. They were
Oh
like
right.
wood. Did I talk about that?
Well, I don't even know if you talked about it on the podcast, but you brought this up to me
Uh,
weeks ago,
yeah.
maybe months
Oh,
ago.
okay. Yeah. Yes, we haven't had cabinets on our because we took them off to motivate us,
And
and
I
they
kind of
stayed off for
posited
6
that
months.
maybe that's easier, just to have all your stuff ready to go.
Well,
and
sure, it is
visual.
easier, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's also looks like you know
Well, you fly Frontier
a
Airlines,
broken down
you know?
home that doesn't have all the parts. Just seeing exposed mugs, coffee cups, random cups, sippy cups, just on a shelf, instead of behind cabinets. This is not a tidy
Yeah.
look. But anyway, so we started, and you have to do the primer. So you have to like paint primer, and so we did that, whatever, and that was just hell on earth. I hated it, and I had to do all the cabinets. She did like the actual structure, and I did all the cabinets that were off.
Mm.
So the other night, we're like, because we've just had our garbage can that's under the sink on top of the counter, and it's very off-putting to have a garbage can just on your counter, because we can't have it on the ground because then the dog will get
Oh,
into it,
okay,
and if you
okay,
keep
okay.
it under the sink without a cabinet, the dog will get into it. So we have to keep it up there because of the
Right.
dogs. So we're like, well, let's do that part of the cabinets so that we can get those doors on. And we can put our garbage can back. So Aaron starts painting. This was last night, and we, like in front of a sink, sometimes it looks like there's a shelf. It's a fake, or a drawer. It's a fake drawer front, but there's obviously not a drawer because there's a sink
Oh
right
yeah,
behind
yeah,
it.
yeah.
So she's painting that, and then we move to the right, and then she keeps going to the right, and there are two real drawers, and she just paints those. I was like, oh well, I'll just keep going. We forgot to we painted them shut. We can't open the drawers because we didn't pull them out to open it. We just painted them shut, just like the fake one. So the first one that the next morning, she realized it, and she like pulled it open, and it just like pulled half the paint with it.
Right. Yeah.
So the other door, we're like, well, we're not gonna rip it open because it'll just pull the paint. So
Use
that
like a
drawer is
knife
no
or
longer
something.
openable.
Oh, you're just never gonna open.
We're just not gonna open it. It'll ruin the paint.
Dude, I remember like I'd heard that phrase like painting windows shut, and we obviously have a really old house, and so I always was like, I just didn't intellectually. I knew that it was a thing people did.
Yeah.
They were sloppy and they painted windows shut, and then they were stuck like that forever.
Yeah.
But in my head, I was like, I don't think it's just paint. How can the paint? It's not like cement. It's not like glue. You
Right.
know, like how's this paint gonna keep? I'll be able to rip the window open no matter what. And I painted, and Heidi was on it. She was like, crack the windows when you paint the windows. Make sure you crack them and open. And I was like lazy. I didn't do one. I was like, whatever. I'll be able. And man, that sucker is shut. When you paint a window shut, it's stuck, man.
Were you ever open it?
I like threw my back out trying to. I eventually popped it, but it really like I was using every ounce of strength I had because it was like pulling it up. Like it's like windows, like really old fashioned sliding windows that go up and down, and I had to like yank. I mean, I was like really like ripped my back up pulling this window out. So I don't know what it is. I don't know how. Like I mean, just think about it. Like this little layer, tiny layer of paint. But it does it.
Oh yeah,
it's a miracle.
I know. I think we might take a razor blade and just kind of carve an opening.
Sure, that'll do it.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, like Bugs Bunny just drawing a doorway on the wall.
That'll work, right?
It becomes one. Okay. What do you need
All right.
backup on, Joe?
This is what I need backup on. Now, keep in mind, former waiter. I was a waiter at lots of places. So
Red Lobster?
I'm not an asshole. I'm not saying I'm not saying I'm not an asshole because I've never worked it. I'm saying with my topic, I'm a former waiter.
Service
Yes.
veteran.
I was not a good waiter. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying I was a pro. But now, okay, my topic is when a waiter comes and takes your order, takes the tables, or let's say you're with a party of, a big party, and they don't write it down. That is not, to me, that is not impressive at all.
Yeah.
And all it is anxiety inducing because I know until my food comes in front of me, I'm just thinking the whole time, my food is going to have fucking tomatoes in it. I am telling her no tomatoes. She's not writing it down. And she's about to take 19 other people's orders. So this is not cool. Like, just write it down. No one is like, ooh, wow, what a memory. Everyone's like, oh, fuck, it's probably going to be fucked up.
Yeah, it is odd. Like I'm trying to think of like the motivation for the waiter to demonstrate that skill. So it's like even if you're getting it right, like 99% of the time, right? Like if you write it down and you screw up the order, a lot of people are gonna forgive that. They're like, hey, it happens. People mess up, or maybe it wasn't your fault. Maybe it was the kitchen. Who knows?
Exactly.
Just,
this is a very good point.
Help me out, right?
Yeah.
If you screw it up, even if you have a higher batting average, not screwing it up mentally, then writing it down, still you should write it down, at least even fake write it down. Because
exactly.
Everyone's going to, if you screw it up without writing it down, everyone's going to be so mad and just go, why didn't you just write it down?
Yes. Even let's say the kitchen fucks up. Well, guess what?
Right.
You get blamed. It's your fault. Yeah.
Sure. My favorite is when, because I've had that where you get a server and they don't write it down, and then they come back. Hey, just double checking. You had the oat milk latte and you had the crepes, and it's like that. See, it must have been very hard for you to come back and admit you didn't remember.
How long were you around that corner debating? Oh God,
I am like a big asshole. Can you imagine how big an asshole you'd be? Like, okay, I will tell you one more time, but I'm gonna need you to focus.
I'm gonna need you to focus.
That is like kind of like a secret victory for me when the waiter doesn't write it down, has to come back and like double check. I love that. Oh, hot shot. Oh, don't trust yourself, eh?
A few more games of memory on the weekend might help strengthen
that. Didn't take
your
ginkgo biloba this morning.
Oh, I'd just be a condescending asshole. Well, what does it say when you wrote it down? Oh, that's right. You didn't write it down.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's funny. See, I remember what I ordered.
I remember you not writing it down.
So when you were a server, of course, you would write it down.
Yeah, I'd still fuck it up. I mean, I was terrible.
You were just drawing a picture of the table.
We've already talked about how
that's a big fat guy, and you're drawing like a giant cartoon of everybody.
Oh God. I was at this place I was a waiter in New York, and there was a place, it was called Dallas Barbecue, and it would just fill up right before or after. It was either before or after the plays would get out on the weekend, because like it would just, everyone's like rushing over trying to get to the 6 o'clock whatever, and so just get slammed, and it was just a money grab. You got, I was terrible service, but it was such high turnover that it was like, oh wow, I just made $100 in an hour and a half or whatever. But like the worst was I had a tray just full of drinks, and I take one off to hand it to a person across the table. It was a big party, and across the table, and I'm like holding it there, like, can you can you take this from me? Here, I'm passing it
Yeah.
to you. And he like didn't, just ignored me. Like, yeah, I'm sitting here. You can go ahead and reach further and put it down in front of me instead of me taking it from you. I was like, oh God. So I had to reach a little further, lost balance, tray full on a guy's head across from the guy. I had to pour. It was just like, this guy got doused. I mean, it was fucking.
Oh my
It
god.
was like a Three Stooges scene. It was just.
And then he's all dressed up to go to the theater wearing his ascot and opera glasses.
Were you ever a server anywhere?
No.
Oh my
I
God.
know. I don't know if we talked about this, but I lied one time to try and get a server job in LA at the not the cattle ranch. There was a barbecue place. Maria Shahada worked there in the Grove.
Okay.
And she was like, all you need to know, she's like, anyone, it's like, it's not rocket science. They're going to want you to have experience, but you really don't need experience because every place is different anyway.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, you just have to know about point of sale. So POS or POS system or something. And so
But they all have different point of sale.
but that's what she said. It's like the chances are, a lot of people go from restaurant to restaurant and they have a different system when they go and they have to learn it anyway. So she's like, you'll just have to learn it. And just whatever it is, just say like, oh, the last one you had was not this one.
Yeah.
Know?
Well, which one was it? Not this one.
So I interviewed and I lied and I said I think I said I worked at the comedy club where in Seattle at Giggles.
Yeah.
But as a server, and I was like, man, I can get other people to lie for me. But you know what? I don't know if they sniffed me out or what. But they just I went for an interview, sat down with the manager, everything, thought I came off well, but they never called, so I think maybe they knew.
Oh, they sniffed you out.
Yeah.
That's one of those jobs though. Like as a waiter, you'll dream, like you have nightmares and you just dream of full shifts. You'll wake up from a night's sleep and be like,
Ugh.
"Are you fucking kidding me? I
That
was
was
just
what-
dreaming that I was waiting tables." I mean,
Is that the maddest anyone's ever gotten at you when you doused the dude, or did you have anyone get? Was that guy even that mad? Like, what did he do?
No, I got lucky. I mean, yeah, he was upset, but he didn't like scream at me. I've had people that are just fucking assholes. This is not. Did I say that I wanted this? No, this is not. No, I want to talk to a manager and just, and the manager has to like yell at you in front of them, and then you go in the back, and the manager's like, "Sorry, that guy's a prick. Sorry, don't worry about it." You know. It's like, oh, fuck. That's a job where, like, and also I'd have dreams of just ripping people's heads off, just screaming at customers. It's just suicide. That's just job suicide.
Mike, we should have Mike Cummings back on. He has amazing, because he's been a server most of his adult life, I think.
Yeah.
And he has amazing quit stories. Just like he's burned bridges probably like 4 or 5 different times. Just flamed out, screamed at everybody on the way out, screamed at the manager, flipped everybody off. Like he's gotten to do that multiple times. But he's like good at it, so like he can always get another job. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter. The next place is dying to hire him. So it doesn't really matter. But
yeah, my brother Scott has a story. He worked at this place for a while. He's a waiter, and it was just the perfect storm. All this shit going wrong, people yelling at it, just horrible shit going on, and it was just the straw that broke the camel's back. This lady leaves, and he looked at the table. And there was no tip, and he was just he went outside of the restaurant, followed her, and said, "Hey, if you're not gonna pay for the service, then don't even eat here." And she turned around, she's like, "What? What are you talking about?" And he was like, well, don't. And she was like, "No, I left a tip. I left it. I put it under the thing, whatever." And he was like, "Oh, I am so sorry." And she was like, "Nope. I need to talk to him." And, of course, he was fired. So she went back in and.
But still screw that lady. Like, forget it. Like,
I know.
Because so what? You left a tip that time, like
You
then
didn't
you should
see
be
it.
like, he
Yeah.
said he was sorry, he didn't see it. I wouldn't
Yeah.
say shit if a guy yelled at me. I was like, hey, I tipped. They'd go, oh, all right, and I wouldn't try and get the person fired.
Right. I'd be like, oh God, that's that poor person, that poor waiter.
I know, because think about how bad. But I will say, I get a little. Maybe this is just because I've never had a service industry job. But like, I worked in construction. I worked for Best Buy. I worked for the census. I worked a lot of shitty jobs. Okay,
Yeah.
like I get a little bit perturbed at some of the. It's like a club or something. They're like, oh well, if you've never worked in the service, Heidi does this to me sometimes. Like, oh, you've never worked in the service industry, you don't really know. It's like, yeah, I mean, I was pushing lawnmowers like 2 years ago. Okay, like I've checked my ego at the door a few times. All right, I know. I mean, it's a job. I'm sure you have a boss and you have annoying customers, the whole thing. But like, that's like most jobs. I don't think there's like some special place in heaven for service industry people. You know what I mean? Like you're not like, this exalted version
Right.
of the working class. It's like somehow a tougher job than like, shoveling asphalt or something. Care to
Yeah. I'm not.
defend?
It's not that they're better. It's just that
No,
like
but they think they've
everyone
suffered more.
interacts with waitresses and waiters, but to know what it's like to just have that like my world is about to fall apart. I'm at work. Just to have that,
Yeah.
just to know the feeling of like
I
ultimate
know that
panic.
feeling because when I worked in construction, I wouldn't know what the fuck I'm doing sometimes, and I knew the boss was coming back, and this shit didn't line up, and the pieces are wrong, and it doesn't look like it's supposed to look. And I was like, this is money. Like I'm literally wasting materials and money, but I can't go backwards because if I rip all this down, then it's gonna look like I didn't do anything. I mean,
Yeah.
I know that feeling, and like also, I think service industry people are like, you go out when you've worked as a waiter, you think, oh, when I go out now, I'm like better to, my
Yeah.
servers than the average person is, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, that applies to anything. Like, I feel like I worked in construction, so when people like bitch and moan about like traffic being down to one lane or like making noise next door because they're building a house. It's like, yeah, they're building a goddamn house. It's gonna get a little noisy. Do you like your house? You know what I mean? They
Well,
had
then,
that was
then
noisy to
you get
build
the
that.
right. Yeah, you get the right to say, "Oh, you wouldn't know. You never were in construction."
That was one of my first bits. Was like, I was I was jackhammering out this like, I don't know, walkway for some house, and this woman starts walking over from across the street, and just see her coming, and she's walking right at me. I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, do I have to stop? Because she's gonna get a rock in the eye or something. So I stop, and I'm there by myself, and she goes, she goes, this was the bit version. This isn't exactly what
Okay.
happened, but she goes, hey, so just so you know, I work from home, and that's is there any way you could cut down on the noise? And I said, yeah, I'll put the silencer on. And I just went, but she really did come over and ask me to cut down on the noise. Like, what, you know? Oh, you work from home? Oh, okay. You should have put a
Okay.
sign out front. Let
Let us know
everybody
when you're
know
not home, and we'll come back and
that
work.
society can't continue during your work from home hours.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. All right.
All
Well,
right.
what do you need backup on?
Okay. Well, this is a good. This is a good reverse from last week, where I'm glad mine. Or no, maybe I should have gone first.
Oh, you got one about raking?
Well, this is worse. This is a
Oh.
maybe weaker. So I was at the airport, like I said,
Yeah.
And there's a guy. I went to the bathroom after the flight.
Nice.
Near my gate. Yeah, just the
Yeah.
urinal, just the
Oh,
urinal.
all
But
right.
the guy at the urinal next to me just rips a like super loud long fart, but there's no regard. There's, you know what I mean? Like no
Yes.
even trying to. In fact,
Yeah.
it's almost like he's trying
He is
to
trying.
make it loud as possible. And then he got like a couple annoyed looks I noticed from guys like, "Come on, man," whatever. But here's my take on that. Where else do you want this dude to fart? Like, so he's on the plane. He's clearly done everyone this huge favor on the plane by holding it that fart in for the whole flight. Who knows? Maybe he was coming from Tokyo or something. And then he
Uh-huh.
goes to the bathroom. Like, what? You want him to just hold it in forever? you know? So then the only other step would be like, should he go to the stall? But then it's like, okay, he's gonna take up a stall when there's some people who like really need to go take a shit. Like I would not be happy if I was like dying to take a shit and someone who's in the stall to fart. You know, so I think I think farting at a urinal should be like totally fair game and in fact sort of encouraged because it's like, yeah, this is where this should happen. Not in Starbucks line, not TSA, not on the plane.
Yeah.
While you're peeing at a urinal, very acceptable to fart as loud and as long as you want to. I didn't give him a dirty look. I was like, yeah, all right.
Can we? I think. I think we should isolate that rant. And when we do have guests, if they're like, "Well, what kind of topics?" Just be like, "Here, this is an example. People should be able to fart in the bathroom."
I feel like for some reason it feels like I stole that from you. I mean, I literally did not, but it does feel like I went into your brain and incepted a topic from you.
You incepted the topic. No, I think that's it. Well, that's. I mean, clearly I back you up because
Right.
as you were telling the story before you even got to the part, I was like, well, where else is he supposed? I mean,
Yeah.
that's the fart place is the bathroom.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
It is funny how I mean, like, is there a public restroom anywhere else in the world that gets more loud, long farts than an airport public
no.
bathroom? It's
No, because
crazy.
no one else is. I mean, it's such a like everyone's. See, and that's the thing. That's actually like demonstrating good citizenship because it means you were holding it in the whole flight. A lot of people probably are not holding it in on the
Right.
flight. So anyone who doesn't fart loud at the urinal, you can look at them and be like, "Hey, you're an asshole because you were farting on the plane."
Yeah. Yeah, that's what he should have responded to the people with dirty looks. What? When did you blow yours out? Out
Yeah.
there? I'm a
Yeah, what?
gentleman.
You walking by the pilot?
Yeah. Good lord.
Yeah.
Did you skim or listen to the episode with Lawrence filling in for you when we were talking about farting on planes?
I more than skimmed, but did not listen to the whole entire
Because he's the
thing.
one that taught me that whole trick of if you do fart on a plane or anywhere, I guess, you gotta act mad
Yes,
and
I saw
start
this
looking
part.
around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got to start looking around. Go,
All
come
upset.
on.
Oh, who
Yeah,
had
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
nerve?
Yeah.
Great. It's the greatest thing
Uh,
anyone's ever taught me.
I know. You know,
But
that's
now
it.
but now I'll see other people do that on planes. If I'll smell something, I'll be like, okay, I'll look for who's like too mad that this fart is in the air.
Dude, we went to this fancy resort, like I said, and I went to our room wasn't ready, so I had to go to the bathroom, and I had to take a shit. And
Sure.
sure, as you do. So I went to the bathroom, but it already smelled bad. And this is a really fancy place.
Uh
But it
huh.
already smelled really bad. And I was like, oh no. Now I'm going to be, but you know what I mean?
You're gonna take the blame.
Blamed for this.
Yep.
So I was like, well, might as well go for it. I didn't flush or anything because it was like, if I'm going to get blamed, I might as well.
Just leave it half out of the water.
Might as well claim it.
Sure.
All
Mark your
right.
territory.
You're backing me up.
Of course. Oh my God.
What do you think, dude? Good app.
Oh, solid app.
Solid app. One of our best.
I'm gonna have a cigarette after that one.
Thanks everybody for listening to the Cavalry. Remember, Patreon. We'll do some post-show banner right now, and there's bonus stuff on there. Maybe we should do another bonus episode. If anybody has an idea for what you want to hear us talk about,
Yeah, leave us a
bonus
5-star
episode,
review.
we're open to
Let us
that.
know.
We'd do something. We take requests, so let us know. Do you got anything you want to plug? Where
Oh boy.
if you're in North Dakota? No, that's
Let
a
me
private
see.
gig.
Let's see. Do you got anything? Oh,
I don't even know anymore.
this is airing very soon. Next weekend. Oh, I will be alone with my children for 4 days.
Oh.
So that'll be nice. I'll be. It'll be a little taste of my own medicine from when I did all those cruises and left Erin for 2 weeks, and I got to deal
Where's
with
Erin
it for
going?
4 days. She's going to New Orleans with the girls.
Look out.
Look out.
Ladies, lock up your husbands.
Lock up your husbands. Windham, Minnesota, the next weekend, the 11th and 12th. That's the next one I'll plug. And then, Funny Bone, Omaha Funny Bone. If you're here listening, any Omaha listeners, the 25th and 26th, it's the Friday, Saturday after Thanksgiving, headlining the Omaha Funny Bone, and I'll be at the Madison Comedy on State, doing Kevin Bozeman's big, huge pre-Thanksgiving show Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
All right. Well, you heard the man. Go see Johnny. That's it. Thank you, everybody, as always, for listening to
The Cavalry!